Alrighty, I think I'm all set up here. So, welcome to Wednesday, July 6th, Community Breathing Intention Release. So today we're just gonna be on the floor, relaxing and breathing. We're gonna, again, maybe explore some different things here. So let's find a nice comfortable position, relaxing on the floor, and you can cross your feet, you can come out into a little bit of a diamond shape or let your feet come out in front of you. Not a big opening, but just a little release forward. And we're just going to take a moment and find the sitting bones and rock on the sitting bones and release into the floor. So you can start to find a sense of release down through the spine into the base of your pelvis, feeling that your weight shift releases through the bones so that you're starting to breathe through the bones and let go of the connective tissue, releasing around the bones. We're getting into using some gravity to help find alignment a little bit more easier. Finding a plumb line here. And then we're going to relax through center. Hopefully your hips are relaxed, your lower back lets go. The tail of your spine, right between your sits bones, you want to feel, especially from the lower back, your lumbar area, that your tail has a little bit of gravity drawing into the floor. So sometimes, even if we're on the sits bones, maybe we're pitched up and over a little bit too much. This causes more tension into the low back. So we are hyper extending through there and sort of holding tension. We still have a curve. We're not trying to flatten things out. We're just releasing and letting go through the low back muscles and just letting your arms relax and hang over your legs here, relaxing through the shoulders. And let's just close the eyes and let the breath draw down into the base of the spine, into the base of your pelvis. So we're using this moment to draw a sense of internal focus, releasing any external thoughts or tensions. You want to try to observe your breathing. Let your breath on your exhalation feel like a nice release. Feel that it, again, is traveling down with gravity. You're letting go with gravity into the floor, through the floor. It's that feeling like when you just get into bed after a long day and your body starts to let go and your breath starts to let go, things become a little bit more easy to release through. You're bringing yourself into center. It's more introverted. Releasing tension through the jaw and the chin. Try to notice if you're holding tension in the shoulders, maybe in between your shoulders. Sometimes we hold in between the scapula, and you want to just try to feel the scapula, your shoulder blades draw down through the sits bones to let go. And then we're just going to gently open the eyes. We'll take the palms together and slide forward and back. So now we're drawing the breath up into our hands, creating a little bit of heat and friction, feeling that your breathing comes up into your palms to then sort of move it around and out through the body. We're going to separate the hands apart and feel that energy between our palms, that nice little buzzing sensation here. Feel that that pushes your palms open. So a sense of breath pushes your palms out into the space around you. And now feel that your breath from inside to outside moves your body. This is a movement in any direction. This is an exploration of expansion. We want to feel that sense of connectivity from an inside place support us through the movement externally. So feeling, especially through the back of your body, you're finding a sense of support with your breath, and that supports you moving and exploring any direction you have around your body, feeling that you grow up above, down below, around the sides behind you, and you can move through it. You can move that energy with your palms. And then we're going to reach out, gathering energy from the space around, drawing it through the palms, and taking that energy over your face and eyes, just sensing it for a moment, and then breathing into it, washing over your face, around your eyes, taking a nice sense of release, letting go, feeling the breath wash over the face, opening things up, starting to bring a sense of calm that flushes over your face, around your eyes. And then we're going to take our fingertips, using the breath and massage. We're opening from the inside on the brow bone, massaging in and up, around and out, with a little bit of a lift up into the hairline. So we're going to use an exhale, breathing out to carve this sense of release and opening from the center of the face out. And again, breathing out, opening up above the eyes, getting a nice flush and release above the eyes, starting to release into the lymph there, letting go of any tension under the skin. And then we'll take our index finger, bending your index finger, using sort of your knuckle here. And we're going to breathe out, going under the eyes. So this is our orbital bone, underneath the eyes, along the bone, again, with that nice lifting up into the hairline. So we're going to exhale, feel that your face relaxes with your breath, breathing and carving open. And again, going under and exhale, breathe through that release. Now we're going to come into the forehead, just our fingertips into the forehead, and we're breathing out and doing a little scrubbing up and down here, moving the skin, moving the lymph under the skin. You can think of just sort of ironing out any lines, releasing and flushing through, letting go of any tension you're holding in the top here. And then coming around to the outside of the eyes, the temples, just lightly moving the skin around in a circular motion, very light here, not pressing in with the fingers. And then continuing down and relaxing your jaw. We're going to use our fingertips much more. We're going to poke, we're palpating, pushing in and massaging around. You really want to get in there and move into that space around your jaw, in between the upper and lower jaw. Release, and you can sort of move around to where you feel more tension or more tightness, and feel that the breath travels through the fingers here. And then we're going to come around up above the ears into the scalp. So we have this nice little scrubbing, lifting motion above the ears towards the crown of the head. And then working our way around the tops of the ears towards the back of the head. So we're feeling that we're releasing any tension and pressure around the ears through our head, up above and around to the back. And when we get around to the back, so now we're at the very bottom of our skull where the head and the neck meet, right? So at the top of the spine. We have that nice crease there at the top, into that vortex there. And so this is our occipital. We're going to take a nice lateral massage, breathing and opening that space there, and come out a little bit towards the sides, towards your ears, and just feeling a sense of openness and length, and maybe a little bit taller there, feeling that you have space and release congestion. Tons of congestion gets stuck in there. And we just want to feel a sense of where we can expand through there, opening that up. Now we're going to come down the back of the neck, along the sides of the spine. This is a circular motion. So we're relaxing and massaging down the back of the neck from the top, working our way down into the tops of the shoulders. So you can, again, sort of really relax back and dig your fingers in here. We're making our way all the way down until you feel those trapezoids at the top, those really tight tops of the shoulders. We're going to take our fingers, almost like little claws here, digging over the top. Take a nice long exhale and sweep over, breathe out and shake it off, releasing any tension. And then going back again, use a nice exhale, breathing out, sweeping over and letting go, shaking it off. And one more time going back, getting a nice massage, letting the shoulders relax. Let the tops of the shoulders go and sweep it off. And now we'll interlace the fingers. We want to feel the breath come from the base of the spine. As we turn the palms up, the breath internally lifts us up to stretch through the spine. We want to feel a connection from down in the pelvis, lifting us up through the arms. So sometimes if your shoulders are tight, you might need to adjust your arms or even bend your elbows a little, but find a connection as you lengthen up. Use your breath to help you feel that. And then lifting up, we're just going to wiggle up a little bit more, lifting up off of the hips, releasing out of the low back, sort of unplugging the base of the spine up, and then coming back through center. Relax through the tail of the spine, let your arms drape down in front, releasing the shoulders. We're going to take a nice cradling here. We're going to circle around, inhale, finding your elbow, breathing through the top side ribs. So as we're up here, the elbows are really wide and relaxed, so we can glide the shoulder blades, the scapula. We're massaging them around the back of the ribs, and exhale over. We sweep the tail under to come down and around. Find your long tail as you inhale up. And exhale over, around and forward. Relax your shoulders as you come down. Inhale through the side and up. Breathing and opening the front of the chest wide, around and down. Finding that nice breath, inhale up. We're taking a little pause up here, finding a new breath. And change your direction, exhale, around and forward. Finding your elbow to open in between the ribs, in between the intercostals, that webbing of tissue in between our ribs that expands and contracts. We want to feel that there's a nice breath coming through the upper ribs and chest cavity and around and forward and down. Finding the breath, elbows wide. We're going to breathe in and up through center. Find the breath internally, right through the midline, lifting you up, reaching through the arms again, finding that lift from inside. Keeping that lift, we're going to separate the hands and just circle through the wrists, breathing the palms and fingers open, keeping that suspension inside as you release the arms open. And then at the bottom, the arms just hang with the chest open. And then we just relax out of that a little bit. So now from here, we're going to take the feet out. So you can kind of shake your legs out a little bit on the floor. And again, if this isn't comfortable, you can sit up on something. So if you lift your pelvis up off the floor a little bit, then the legs can let go. We don't want to cause more tension. You don't want to feel that you're forcing this position if it's not comfortable. You can bend your knees, you can release your back. We're going to take one palm behind us and we're going to push a little bit, bending this knee, flexing the other foot, push up and lift. Find that breath through the midline. Lift up and over the tail and open through the chest and arm. We're hanging the arm out to the side a little bit because we want to find our scapula. We're hanging the arm open from resting into the scapula a little. Relax and come forward. Feel the breath come in and up through the center, over. And exhale, release and change. This is sort of a kneading from one side to the other, up. And release and change. So we're finding how we can breathe through the chest to open, and that flows through the shoulder and the arm. As our chest, as our spine lengthens, elongates, and opens, then the limbs follow, right? So everything stems off the spine and change. Breath comes in and up. And release. Now, we're going to take both arms up. We do our circling again. Now, wrists and ankles, breathing and circling around. We're just letting that release come through, opening through these distal points, fingertips and toes. We're coming all the way down to hang on the floor. So if it's just your head hanging over, that's okay. You want to find a comfortable hang over your hips, letting your head go. We're going to breathe out and feel the weight of the head let go with gravity here. Make sure, and you can use your breath to let go of your jaw and your chin and feel that release come all the way through the crown of the head. And then use the breath, exhale through the nose and drop your head just a little bit as you exhale. So we're just breathing out. It might not be a movement in your head. If you're feeling really tight, you can just breathe out and let go and see what happens. We're not thrusting, we're not trying to move the head. We're giving a little momentum release with gravity here. And we're feeling the breath through the nose because the nerves travel up along the spine through into the nose. So we want to get that release into the spine as much as possible. And then just hanging over, relaxing. Use the weight of your head to sway from side to side. Breathing and shifting and swaying. Feel that your head's really heavy and breathing and shifting, swaying, using again that momentum to release through the bones, feeling the bones really heavy. We're starting to shift in our sits bones, dropping down and shifting from one side to the other. You can start to breathe through the opposite upper back ribs. So there's a diagonal release here from the lower back ribs a little bit. And you're feeling that breath release at the bottom of the rib cage in the back. It gets really another congestion point that we hold on to. Now we're going to use the abdomen. The low belly lifts up and draws back. We're walking the sits bones along the floor, walking backwards and dragging the leg along the floor. So we're engaging through the pelvis and the hips and dragging the legs. This doesn't have to be big, but we want some shifting in the pelvis to influence a nice release in the sacrum. So we start to loosen up through the sacroiliac by shifting in the hips. Then we're going to come forward, lifting up and dropping down. Now in the forward motion, you can use your sits bones like feet a little bit more to push down and lift up and drop over. Again, that heaviness, they're like a nice heavy elephant walking on the floor, pushing up and around. You don't have to think of the lift in the hip. It's the downward push that lifts and floats your hip around. So you're just using that nice released mechanic in our bodies. And then relaxing and hanging over, just finding the release through center one more time, breathing out. As the breath comes in, draw your tail down and feel the breath lengthen in and up through the front as your tail releases down through the floor in the back. So we create that nice loop energy, long tail through the floor, feeling this support all the way in and up through the spine, along through the midline and the abdomen, and feeling that this down and this up gives you a nice open posture through your chest and shoulders. So you don't have to hold in your upper body. It's from the base of the spine, finding that, and then just releasing, letting it go. So now from here, we let the tail round under. We're going to use our fists now and just do our nice drumming into the sacrum, breathing into it. You're going right on top of the bones here, getting a nice breath and release. We're going out to the side. You can go into your glutes a little bit more and just sort of explore where you feel tight or where you feel like you're holding on. So we're just breathing into that. You can go down a little lower. Now let's go up along the sides of the spine and go up towards your ribs, towards your kidneys, breathing and opening. Feel that you're separating everything out to the sides from the spine. And then we'll come down, still using our fists. It's kind of loose. We're dropping into the sides of the hips. So sort of around the back sides of the hips a little bit more, where the greater trochanter is. Feeling that insertion sort of angle in our hip socket. So this is where the hips pull into the socket. And then we're going to come around from one side to the other. So now we do a flush from the back of the hip. So this is from the glute, the posterior hips. And we're just drawing and releasing any tension and tightness and flushing it down and out through the legs, releasing through the knees, sending it away out through our toes. And then we're going to come up around the sides of the legs. Let's open the palms. We're using heels of the hands, nice and loose here. We're doing a fluffing motion around the sides of the legs. So we're going to kind of scoop and lift and release the muscles off the bone. Let everything shake. Feel that your breath releases or helps you release any tension that you feel. So you're sending the breath through the palms, letting that release come through, letting things loosen up so they can function better. Also maybe wake up, right? So sometimes things are just a little sleepy from one side to the other. We're coming all the way down the sides of the legs, the IT band lines. Right up above your knees, we're going back into that patting fist motion. Go over the tops of the knees into the inside. And just releasing any tension right up above the knees that inserts into our quadriceps. And then taking your fingertips right on top of the kneecap, right into your patella. We want to feel a nice tapping vibration into the joint. So we feel that vibration into the joint, stimulating the nerves to wake everything up internally, and travel down the shin bones. Tap, 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 all the way down to your ankles, waking everything up and traveling back up the shins again. Now we're going to lean back a little bit, use the heels of the hands to flush down and out through the quads, getting a nice release, a nice full length. You can use a lot of pressure here, a good amount of pressure. So we want to feel a sense of lengthening and letting go into and along the femur bones. You can go a little bit to the outside, a little bit to the inside, and just finding that sense of length in the front of the quads here. We're going to lean back a little bit more and we drop into the hip flexors. They're a little bit engaged as we lean back, just kind of bouncing off of them and then flushing down again. And then we're coming down into the outside of the shins here, nice and loose and fluffing up again. So we have our peroneals nice and probably a little bit tighter than you realize, right? So anyone who's had shin splints knows this area well. And we're just kind of bouncing off, releasing any tension and tightness that can hold into our knee and ankle alignment, into our hips, into our spine, lots of stuff. And then we're just going to relax with the feet coming back in, knees hanging off to the side. So whatever feels comfortable here, use the tops of your hands and flush down on the inner thighs. So we're getting a downward release from the hip sockets, letting go here, letting that release come through along the inner thighs, the adductor line, all the way towards our knees. So getting that to let go all the way through this inside line. And then we're flexing through the heels. That slightly engages our calves. Let's start small today. We're just going to drop our fists down into the calves. So we get a nice sort of lateral motion off the calves. And then we're going to graduate this into a big drop. So we're taking the breath and letting go. Breath, release. Getting that release to flush through. If for any reason, if you're sore in your calves, you might want to stay with the lighter version. But we're just letting this release come down lower on your calf and into your Achilles tendon area. So we've got the soleus at the bottom of our calves leading into our Achilles, flushing that through and down towards your ankles. And then we're going to take the hands back behind, relax the legs out, give a good shake out on the floor, nice little shift in the hips and the shoulders, make sure you're not holding tension. We're going to bring one knee up, take a deep breath in, start your exhale, give a little scoop through the low belly. This is the low belly, the dantian. We exhale, release, and other leg comes up. Start your breath, and again. So we want to feel a sense of lengthening along the floor, but not pressing down into the floor. So the joints lengthen and release. They're sort of just a pass through, right? They're not the end points. They are allowing more of that length to come through and continue. Release through the breath, but we have to give some connection into our center to really be able to let go. So we have a little bit of contrast there for stability so that we're not disrupting anything too much. And then releasing here, just do little rolling in and out taps. We're breathing through the bones here, letting the hips release, feeling that nice motion in the hip sockets without any tension in the muscles or connective tissue, and then relaxing and bringing your feet in. So now from here, we're going to just start to relax the feet and roll through the ankles, moving around, breathing into the feet, letting go into the feet here. And then relaxing your feet on the floor, we're going to massage into the inside ankle heel area. So right under your ankle bones, you can kind of dig around here a little bit more into all of these connective tendons and ligaments that wrap around. There's a lot of stuff here. And we want to kind of free this area up so our ankles can move and open, maybe even give a sense of awareness in proprioception to lift up through the inner ankle, where all of us tend to roll inward and down, causing a whole series of events when we're standing. And then we're going to continue into the soles of the feet, a really nice mushy massage into the soles of your feet. Relax your feet and really kind of move around, releasing through the arches. So especially under your first metatarsal, the big toe, that ball of the foot, and really releasing right into the instep. And you want to sort of let go and not feel that you're holding onto that arch, even if you have especially if you have high arches. It's because there's probably a lot more tension in there, and you probably have a longer Achilles tendon. So we need to sort of open that up and get the toes to move more. So now through the balls of the feet, let's come underneath and just sort of hold the toes open, spreading them apart. Now relax through the balls of your feet while you're holding space between the toes, and just breathe into that space. Feel that you have a froggy foot here. We're finding our inner frogs. Relax and take your hands away. We're going to bring the hands back behind. Now we're going to walk through the feet. We're doing sort of our walking doming. Feel that you connect into your center. You're going to squeeze from underneath the tail through the sits bones. Exhale, as you're squeezing, we're rolling through the feet. So we feel a connection in our center all the way down and out through the toes, through the floor. So we're rolling through, exhale, heel, melting the arches. The toes reach and pull the heels forward. So that froggy foot, open toes, the little tentacles reach and pull your heels through. When you get too far away, start with your froggy toes going over. Heels draw back and melt your arches into the floor. So in this one, it's maybe a little easier to keep tension in the arch, but you want to let it go. You want the whole foot to melt and expand and breathe into the floor. And that gives you a connection that runs up the back of the legs into your seat. Let's go forward again. We're going to exhale, connect through the center and walk. So we're building a sense of awareness from our core down through the feet, finding a sense of control so that we feel what's happening in those distal points a little bit better, breathing through and walk. So now we're going to relax, shake it out a little bit. We're going to bring the feet back into where you feel comfortable, crossing or in your diamond shape or feet out, lifting the chest up. So we're going into our happy hamster, lifting the chest up, taking a nice massage, moving the lymph around here. As you inhale, feel that nice expansion through the chest like a balloon, floating and opening up wide. We're getting a nice flush all throughout the abdomen. Let that flow through and down around into your pelvis, and then come down into the front of the hips and take a nice little massage, flushing through the lymph there, just kind of moving things around, and then coming up right into the center of the chest. So into this breastplate sternum area, we're going to exhale, a little scrubbing up and down, release. As you exhale, you might feel, wow, there's a lot of tension there that I didn't know. And now we're going to flush down underneath the sides of the ribs and through the center, underneath the other ribs, getting a nice release and stimulation there. And then relaxing the arms, hanging the arms over the hips. We're going to relax the head over. Take your opposite hand and just massage into the front of the shoulder and breathing out. You can let your head move around or whatever feels comfortable. Focus on the shoulder, letting go, releasing and moving the lymph around there. And of course, you can explore. And then we're going to come around to the other side. Focus on this arm and shoulder relaxing, and then just go wherever you feel comfortable with that, breathing into it. And then from here, taking the exhale, we're going to drop one palm up and over and release through the other side. So we're sort of knocking the breath through our palm into the upper back, into the shoulders, releasing any tension that's holding on in the shoulders, and getting some breath and release into the upper back ribs and lungs. So it feels good to have a little bit more sort of weight and stimulation there, but try not to karate chop your neck here. Feel that you're just sort of sending the energy through the heel of your hand, and then just relaxing back through center, letting the tail release. Find that breath connection from inside. Let the breath draw you through and up, feeling that internal connection to lift you up, lengthening you up off of your seat. We're going to exhale, let the arms go. Let them release down and out, and change, coming in and up again. Breath lifts you up and release. And again, release. Breath brings you up and letting go. Now we're going to shake it all out, releasing through the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, sending that breath down in that low V diagonal here. Releasing through the back, through the head, letting your jaw go, getting that fuzziness all the way down into the hands. And then when you feel that fuzziness come all the way through, let's interlace the fingers, relax the shoulders, and just kind of squeeze around a little bit, shifting and feeling the space in between the fingers through the palms. And then relaxing together, we're going to relax the wrists and glide around. Let your breath go. Let your breath help you find this momentum to let go. And then we're going to reverse it, coming back the other way, releasing. And then we're going to separate, taking the hands apart and just breathing open and close, letting that in and out motion come through the palm. Now from here, we're going to, let's come around onto our hands and knees. So we're going to do our standing squeezing after this, and we'll come around and just relax onto hands and knees. We want to find a plumb line with the shoulders. So while we're in this quadruped position, your shoulders might be lifted up a little bit. You want to just relax them down and shift your body weight from in your hands from one side to the other to just feel, you should be resting into the heel of your hand. There should be a plumb line sense from the bottom of your shoulder blade down the back of the arm into the heel of the hand. You don't have to hold your arm. You don't have to hold your elbows and lock, right? So you want to feel that you're supported, because we're going to lift up inside to not have weight in the joints. So we want to feel the heels slightly touch together here. We're going to practice taking a deep breath and lift the belly without moving the spine at all. So we're going to inhale, lift the belly up. Exhale, let the belly go. Inhale, lift just the belly, nothing else moves up. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, lift it up. So your breath is your impetus. Your breath helps you engage and release, and you're feeling the coordination of that through your muscles here. So now we're going to use the breath to lift the belly, and that begins to change the shape of our spine. So we're going to inhale, lift the belly up into the spine. Keep lifting the belly so much that it rounds your back. The upper abdomen continues to lift. We lift through the hips to curl the tail under. We're going to intensify this by pushing the floor away with the palms, and that shifts us back a little bit and breathes our upper back ribs open wide. To come through, we're going to roll through. We're rippling through the spine, lifting the belly up to the ceiling. Think of that midline, right through your center midline, lifting up to lengthen through the hips, to lengthen through the chest. Your chest comes through your shoulders, and your eyes can come forward. Now we lift the heels. Heels stay connected. We tuck the toes under. Now we lift up, bend the elbows. As we bend the elbows, the tail draws back. So now we're breathing and looking up. It's like you want to see your tail. When we come forward, again, the abdomen, the breath lifts us to change. We're going to exhale and curl. So we're just going to practice this a little bit more continuously. Try to find the connection from inside to lift. And exhale, find your tail coming forward. Breath lifts you up, lifting out of your hips and shoulders, and exhale to curl back. Inhale, lifting through the abdomen to come through the shoulders and up. Find your tail pulls back and up as you look for your tail. And again, inhale, lift. Feel that your tail lengthens down as you curl and breathe into the back. Abdomen lifts you up. All the way through the shoulders, a little bend in the elbows as your tail comes back. Now we use the breath. We come up over onto hands and knees. Now from here, just more neutral. We're going to tuck the toes under, reach that heel back behind you, and start to just find the ease in your ankle to release your heel. Thinking of your midline, we're going to feel that breath draw down and back to lengthen through the heel. We're breathing through the back of the knee, through the heel, feeling that lengthen to the front of the hip. Find the connection to bring that leg in and change. So each time you're drawing back, you're stemming from an internal connection. So we're not just sinking and releasing into the joints. We're connecting through the movement and expanding. We're controlling all this, right? There's a sense of letting go, but we feel it. We're aware of it. And again, find that connection into your midline. Exhale. And drawing into change. Feel the breath connect you to extend and release. And draw into change. Breath lifts your leg through. So you start to feel the length of your leg comes all the way up from underneath the bottom of your ribs, right? So that's where the psoas line starts, and that's where the leg begins. And then we're going to change one more time, lifting up and gliding back. Now we'll come back onto hands and knees. We're going to just lift the heels and tuck the toes under. Take your hands back. The heels are a little bit touching together, kind of like a mini first position. Toes can be apart, your knees can be apart. Hang over. We're in this little squatting position. If your knees allow this, you can come up higher onto your feet here if your knees don't like to be there. So we're just releasing. Feel that you're hanging in your tail, dropping into the floor over your heels, whether in either position. You can, if you're on the floor, in the smaller squat, you can use your hands to shift on your feet a little bit and breathe through the feet. Now take your hands close to your toes, take a deep breath, scoop the abdomen in and up. We're going to exhale and push the floor away and stretch the legs. So now our legs are straight and we're hanging the body, hanging the spine over the legs. You can separate a little bit and just kind of shake your legs out here. We're going to shift in the hips. So we will bend the right knee, shift and hang over the right knee just a little bit. You're shifting down through the straight leg, hip and heel. Exhale. There's a little scoop in the abdomen to enhance that opening. And then release and change, a little softening in the knee. Exhale. Feel that your tail goes down the straight leg, hip and heel and change. And exhale. Now, if you're feeling good about this, you can continue to curl your head in and up and release and change. So we're just shifting in the hip, drawing down through the heel and scooping in and up. We're sort of expanding into the low back, kneading from one side to the other. Exhale, feeling that unwinding all the way through the back of the body. And one more time, shifting. And exhale through. We're going to come back to center and hang over the legs. Find a plumb line, even if your knees are bent. Find a plumb line from your tail through your heels, sits bones through your heels. Now relax through the arms and feel the breath lift to the ceiling, just like you did on hands and knees. The upper abdomen lifts up to the ceiling, and that gives you some space to roll through the pelvis and the tail. You're lifting up out of your pelvis to let it release down through the floor. So you're engaging through that loop energy as you roll up. And once you're all the way up standing, you can just stand there and find this release down and out. So you start to feel the length down through the back of the body, and there's some more space to feel that lift in and up through the front of the body. I just have to make a little adjustment here. So now, feeling that plumb line energy, you want to gather your feet as close together into your midline as you feel comfortable with. So you're finding that sense of connection from the outside of your hips, drawing into your center, not smashing anything together, just feeling a connect. We're going to take a deep breath in, expand the arms up and open, inhale. We're going to take a squeezing exhale. So we squeeze through the fingertips, the toes, the eyes. We're compressing and squeezing out, scooping through the low dantian. Exhale, 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 exhale. Pushing anything out that you don't need anymore. When the breath comes in, expand and open up. And finding the exhale, squeezing out anything negative, physical, emotional, squeeze it out. We're compressing and squeezing out, making space for new energy. Letting the breath in to expand. I'm sorry if you can hear lawnmowers. And then again, exhale, squeezing it out. Now, we're going to exhale. We're floating up and feeling that suspension through the center. As we breathe out, we soften through the knees and elbows, but we lift internally. We just release the arms forward, around and down. Now we're going to sip through the spine from the base of the spine with the arms coming around and up. So as we sip in and up, push down through the floor, float the arms up. Think of that connection through the center midline, inside your body, supporting you in length. We're going to lift through that midline even more as we exhale and soften knees and elbows, releasing through and down. It's that loop energy again. Very intrinsic, sipping through again. As you float up from the inside, feel that release down through the scapula, and exhale, lifting. Feeling the length of your tail, the long dinosaur tail here. We're going to sip in and up again. And exhale. Now we're going to take a little curl under through the tail. Gather with your fingertips. We're going to sip up through the center, but our fingertips are tracing the breath line. Sip through the center and up. As we come up through the top, fingertips gently touch together. It's like a little open prayer position. Elbows are wide, relax the shoulders. Find the breath through the sternum. This opens wide. We breathe the sternum open, looking up, breathing out, letting the knees soften to open the chest. Release the arms open, draw your tail under to bring the arms around, finding a new breath. You can push down through the feet as you start. Feeling that length inside, lifting you up. Light touch through the fingers, relaxing the chest open, and lifting up as you exhale. and release. Tail sweeps under. One more time, breath comes in and up, drawing through the floor. So we're drawing that internal connection in and up to release any external tensions, balancing that. Now feel that inside connection expand, breathing the chest open to release the arms through, releasing the tail under to come around. Thinking of that center midline, we're going to take middle fingers touching one side, inhale through the opposite arm up. We're shifting the tail down through that bottom heel, exhale, letting the body shift over and hang, relaxing the head over. Find the breath through the sternum, inhale, open, lifting up. That lift opens the arms to revolve and change, new breath. And shift over, exhale, shifting in the head, hanging the head, releasing through the shoulders. Feel the length down through the bottom heel. Breath comes in to lift you up. Expanding through the chest to change. And lift to exhale, shift down. Reaching up through this top palm as you shift down through the tail. Breath comes in. Now as we come back through center, gather the arms in. We're going to do a little bend in the knees as we exhale and push the palms away, opening the scapula, shoulder blades wide. Keep breathing out until you have to take a breath in and float up. And then from here, just fold the arms through center, round your tail under. We're going to do a little rippling through the spine, curling over, just softening in the knees. We're going to inhale, push down through the floor to breathe in and up. Finding that openness as we lift, lifting up and over, finding the curl through your tail. So there's a feeling of suspension as you come through, push down like you're pushing through the bottom of the ocean to lift up to the top, lifting and swimming up to the surface. And then you want to go back down again, rolling through, going all the way down to the bottom. And then you're going to push away again. Breath comes in. And lift. Exhale, finding that floating, lengthening through the tail, drawing down. Let your arms release down, come all the way up through center. Take a deep breath in and just lift the shoulders up. And exhale, release around and down. And again, inhale up. Now let's make a fist. And exhale, release, open. Now we're going to bend the knees. Take a deep breath. Inhale, lift up. Now we're going to let go, exhale, little release there, and again up, and we let it go. One more time, and up, and we let it go. Feel the release through the bones, and just take a little walk out of that. Yes. Okay. It goes by so fast. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. All of my devices here. All right, so any questions or comments, let me know as always. Take care, everybody. Enjoy some summertime. And I'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Thank you. Bye.